Good morning, students. We want to look at electromagnetic induction. We just want to take a quick view at what you'll be looking at in the Google class today. Electromagnetic induction. We'll be looking at these objectives, concept of electromagnetic induction. Now, factors that affect the induced current or the induced voltage. Okay, direction of induced current or induced voltage in a straight conductor. And then lastly, laws of electromagnetic induction. First, we want to talk about the concept of electromagnetic induction. Now, it is observed that when we have a coil, like this, we call this coil solenoid. Solenoid is a conductor. We have it like this, connected to a zero-center galvanometer. This is what we call a zero-center galvanometer. Don't forget, the function of the galvanometer is to detect current and to detect voltage. Good. We connect it to a zero-center galvanometer and we bring a magnet close to that coil. We observe that if the magnet is stationary and the coil is stationary, though they are close to each other, we discover that this zero-center galvanometer will be stationary, will not move. But anytime the magnet moves in relative to the coil, look at this magnet here, south pole, north pole, and we move the magnet like that, and it comes across, we move it in relation to the coil, we notice that this galvanometer will deflect, showing that current has been induced or voltage has been induced inside the coil. We are trying to say an electromagnetic induction is when current or voltage is induced in a coil anytime the coil cuts a magnetic field. This is a magnet. Around the magnet is a magnetic field. You've done this already. North, south pole. There is a magnetic field around a magnet. Anytime this magnetic field cuts a coil, if it cuts a coil, it cuts a conductor, it can be a straight coil, it can be a solenoid. As long as they are cutting each other, current is going to be induced in that coil. Okay? Current, or you say voltage, will be induced in that coil. Now, these are factors that affect induced current or induced voltage. Okay? Now, in that diagram I showed you before this part, okay, experiment, we carry out the experiment, having that setup like that. We have that setup like that, and then we have a magnet. Now, these are the activities carried out, and these are the observations. Number one, the magnets close to the coil but not in motion. If we bring the magnets close to the coil but not in motion, the coil is not moving, the magnet is not moving, we observe that no deflection of galvanometer, meaning that no current has been induced, no voltage has been induced. Well, a magnet in motion relative to coil, anytime the magnet moves relative to the coil, there's going to be a deflection in that galvanometer, meaning that anytime for there to be induced current, for there to be induced voltage, the magnet and the coil must move relative to each other. Now, magnet move forward or magnet move backward. We discover that when the magnet moves forward, the galvanometer deflects in a certain direction. When the magnet moves backward, it also deflects in a certain direction. Also, when you use the north pole, the deflection of the magnet will be different from when you use the south pole. The deflection of the galvanometer will be different from when you use the south pole. Now, increase in the speed of motion of the magnet. Now, you discover that when you move the magnet at great speed, the deflection will be large. Or when you move the conductor, the coil, okay, at great speed near the magnet, the deflection will be large. It tells us that speed, magnitude of speed determines the magnitude of what induced current. For a deflection to be large, it means that the current induced is also very large. Now, a more powerful magnet, if we remove that magnet and go for a bigger magnet, a stronger magnet, we discover that when the magnet comes close to the coil, the deflection will also be large, meaning that induced current increase because the strength of the magnet has been increased. Then, lastly, we took a number of turns. If the number of turns of the magnet is increased, we will discover that of the coil is increased, we discover that the magnitude of induced current will also increase. How do we know? The deflection of the galvanometer will be very large. Finally, if we put a soft iron core inside that induced current, inside that coil, if you put a soft iron inside the coil and bring your magnet close to it, we discover that the deflection of our galvanometer will be large. Now, direction of induced current in a straight conductor. This is what we call Fleming's right-hand rule. We've discussed before Fleming's left-hand rule. Fleming's right-hand, this is my right hand, Fleming's right-hand rule. Okay? This term shows motion. This shows the field of the magnet, while this one shows the movement of the current induced. So, Fleming's right-hand rule. Laws of electromagnetic induction. There are two major laws of electromagnetic induction. Number one is the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. This law tells us that increase in speed between the magnet and the magnetic field, between the magnetic field and the coil will give what? A large induced current or induced voltage. Now, the other one is the Lenz's law of electromagnetic induction. The Lenz's law tells us about the direction of the induced current in relation to the magnet. Thank you very much. In Google class, we'll take time to discuss this better. Thank you.